Hi friends, welcome to a day in my life as a twin mom. We started out our morning at the gym and we are getting ready to head home to make breakfast. We are in the season of a new school year, so we are getting ready to get out the door. These are my pre-made homemade muffins I made a couple of videos ago, and we are just going to get ready for a busy day of crossing things off our to-do list, kind of getting into a good rhythm as we start this new season. During the school year, I find it so much easier to have breakfast meal prepped and to have easy dinners or meals ready to go. So as soon as we get home, we are going to tidy up the kitchen since we kind of left it in a bit of a frenzy to get my daughter to school on time. And then I'll show you what I'm meal prepping for breakfast for my family. And then later, I have a delicious crockpot meal for those busy weeknight dinners. For breakfast this week, I'm making some breakfast sandwiches, and to do that, I am going to make my own English muffins. So I have a sourdough English muffin dough going here. I prepped this last night, did some stretch and folds, and then let it proof overnight. I will leave the recipe for this in the description box. I'm sprinkling a baking sheet generously with cornmeal so that when we divide it up, it won't stick. It'll do its rising here and I'll be able to pull it off. Today I tried something different by weighing out my portions of dough so that they would all be equal pieces. And I'll tell you that I will never do this again. It was just such a waste of time. I feel like I'm pretty good at eyeballing it, and it just was so tedious. I don't really care about the pieces being the same. I would rather just be efficient and just get the job done. Also, you'll notice that I was so focused on getting these pieces the same size that I was totally not paying attention as my son was banging on this glass bowl. Broken dishes is just the reality of having small children. Obviously, this could have been preventable had I just taken the glass bowl away from him. But no harm, no foul. Everyone was fine. We cleaned that up and then got started on prepping dinner while those English muffins were rising. For tonight's dinner, we needed some black beans, so I'm getting those going in the Instant Pot. If you didn't know, you can make beans in your Instant Pot just by setting them on pressure cook high for about 44 minutes, and then when it's done, you'll have some fresh beans that you can add to any of your dishes. Next on the to-do list is to make some fresh tea that we're going to add to my SCOBY hotel. If you aren't aware, I make my own kombucha, and when it's not being used for a current brewing batch, I do need to maintain the health of that SCOBY by feeding it some fresh tea so that it can continue to grow and stay healthy. So this will be ready for the next kombucha brew. After my English muffins have risen, I'm getting ready to put them on the griddle. The recipe that I'm following does have a bit of a shortcut, so you will cook them on the griddle as you traditionally would. However, we're only going to cook them for a short period of time and then finish the baking process in the oven. This is how they looked when they were all done in the oven, and opening it up, they still have those classic nook and crannies. So I would say this was a success. Now that our black beans are done in the Instant Pot, we can go ahead and assemble dinner. We are making a enchilada soup in the crock pot. We're going to use chicken as our protein base and then just add in the rest of the ingredients and let it cook throughout the day. This was very flavorful. I will leave the recipe in the description box. One of the great things about making the beans in the Instant Pot is that you can make them in bulk, and then whatever you don't use, you can store away for a later time. So I'm just going to take these leftover beans and put them in the freezer until I need them for another recipe. After lunch, we watched about 15 minutes of TV, and we're actually watching a German lesson for kids that I found on YouTube, and they are really into this. My oldest daughter has started to outgrow her naps, which has forced me to shift the way that I do my day. I used to count on about 2 hours in the afternoon to be able to kind of just do stuff uninterrupted. But now I've learned that I need to save some activities that I can do with my daughter. We still have about an hour of quiet time where I can regain my bearings. And then we will get back into doing something together. So here she's actually helping me make my egg bake that I make for the family. So it's kind of fun being able to spend this one-on-one time with her, especially with the twins. I don't always get this opportunity to just chat with her and let her kind of lead the conversation, because usually I'm trying to pick the twins off of each other. But she's really shown to be quite a helper. Today is a perfect example because I really needed to wash the floors. They were disgusting. But my daughter was just so excited to be able to help me in this. She's just in that phase where she is excited to lend a hand. So I'm taking advantage of that. When everyone was up for nap, we went outside and enjoying these last few warm days here in Michigan. As we near the end of the day, it is time to start serving dinner. This is how our enchilada soup turned out. We enjoyed this together as a family around the table. And if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear how you and your families are staying busy or organized as we transition into this new season.